So what's all this business about light workers? This is a word that I've seen bandied around a lot, and I thought, well, I don't really understand what we mean by that. Light workers. Okay, what does it mean? Is that healer or something? I mean, there's a lot of these new terms you'll see around for all these so-called gifts of spirit, but I mean, I think, does that actually mean anything whatsoever, or is it just people using another one of these phrases just to sound pretty grandiose and sort of better than thou sort of thing? I mean, I looked it up on Google, right? They have what's called, I think it's called the knowledge graph. So you type a question in and give you a whole list of answers. So Google makes every attempt to stop you searching the web. Just find your information from Google. It's another story. But anyway, it came up with this one. So this is what Google's picking up as the key top of the knowledge graph. It said this: the simple way to describe light workers would be as beings who feel an enormous pull towards helping others, also referred to as crystal babies, indigos, earth angels, and star seeds. These spiritual beings volunteer to act as a beacon for the earth and commit to serving humanity. Well, that sounds to me just like a lot of baloney, I mean, what a lot of nonsense that is. I mean, what on earth do we mean by, crystal babies? Indigos? I mean, those are supposed to be children that are born with special gifts and are here to help humanity. Sounds like fantasy to me, doesn't that to you? What do you think? Put a comment below if you think otherwise. Earth angels, star seeds. This is people having fantasies again, in my opinion. Where did all this come from? Well, there was a few people wrote books about it, but the main propagator of this idea was a trance medium, apostrophes, called Delores Cannon. And I read some of her stuff, and again I thought, oh, what a lot of fantasy, what a lot of baloney. This is just someone sat there spouting off whatever comes from their imagination with no proof whatsoever about anything, and just everybody's thinking it's fantastic, oh, it's marvellous, but it's just fantasy. It's just fantasy. I put the book down when I got to the bit about the Loch Ness Monster, because I thought, oh, I can't take this. Messages from the Loch Ness Monster. I mean, we got to be discerning. We got to be discerning. And just because someone calls themselves something doesn't mean they are it. I think I'd probably say 3 categories that I'd put things in. There's healers. You're a healer. There's a lot of people are healers, and this is a marvellous gift. I'm not knocking healers, of course. Wonderful thing. But the problem is people again start saying, oh, I'm a crystal healer. Why on earth are you a crystal healer? Healing comes through the power of the Spirit through us. It's an energy that pours through us and heals people. Or I'm a Reiki healer. Why do you need Reiki? Why not just be a healer? Don't have to have all these symbols in your head and things. You just heal. It's simple. It comes through you. It's a gift. If you don't have the gift, you just cannot learn it. It's not something you can learn. It's something you have to have. And same too, which I would wrap the whole lot into the word psychic too. I mean, that's clairvoyance, fortune tellers, tarot card readers up to a point, but that's interpretive skill. Again, do we have to make it more complicated than that? I mean, you hear all sorts of strange, crazy sort of descriptions about what a person is. I'm an ancient Celtic seer, or I'm a whatever. The one I don't like is empath. What on earth do we mean by empath? Do they have psychic skills? No, they just sit there and agree with you, basically. They empathize with you. They agree with you. Great. Just pay someone some money to agree with you. Don't get any insights, just pay for them to agree with you. And I said there's 3. So outside of the psychic, the other one I would say is a medium, because I distinguish that very differently to psychic work, because a medium is in communication with the spirit world. They're in connection with the spirit world. And they do that for a number of different ways. They can be a physical medium, they can be a trance medium, they can be what's called a mental medium. So that there's divisions within it. But that's as simple as we need to get it, isn't it? Do we have to always keep making up all these terms? And when you look where these terms come from, and you find the source of it, you often find that the people that are coming up with the original ideas are very suspect. You know, you can judge a fruit, judge a, oh, I can't remember what it is in the Bible. You know, you judge a person by their skills alone. You know, can they do it? You know, can a medium give proof and evidence? If they can't give evidence and proof, then they're not a medium. You can't stand there holding up angel cards and saying that you're in touch with the angels, I'm an angel reader. You can't do all that nonsense. You have to either give the evidence, give the proof, or not. Otherwise, you're not a medium. Try something else, you know, become an empath or whatever you want. Or if a psychic person can't actually pick up things about you in your life, your past, for example, and give verifiable proofs of that, then they're not a psychic, are they? We need all these other words. These other words are massaging it, aren't they? And a healer will sit there and just give you their energy. They don't know if they're going to get you well or not, but if you get well, then that person's obviously got healing powers. We have to judge a person by their results, not by these words. And so I get very annoyed when I hear words like Lightworkers, and I see definitions popping up on Google, you know, and I'm particularly, you know, the one I really dislike. I'm sorry that some of you are going to find this offensive, but I hate angel readers, you know. Again, fantasy, you know, how on earth do we ever prove something like that? You know, how do you prove that I am in touch with the Archangel Michael, that's whatever it is, you know, and all these other different angels, and I bring their energy to you today. And sometimes they just pick up a card and hold up an angel card and say, that's the card, and that's the angel spirit that's with you now. And they talk with such a lot of authority. Some of these people are total wastes of space. I really dislike these magazines that have angel columns, all about messages from the angel. What is wrong with you people doing all that sort of thing? You have to have proof. Otherwise, people like me and others, and you know, other mediums, not just me, all the mediums out there and all the psychics out there that can do proper good evidential work, all our skills are thrown into the same pot with all this bloody nonsense. And we'll walk around saying, people say to you, what are you? Oh, I'm a medium. I almost feel ashamed to say it sometimes. Not because I'm not proud of the fact that mediumship is one of the most wonderful gifts of all, and psychic work, but because so many people call themselves that. You know, they use tarot cards for doing readings, a face reading to do mediumship. You know, I've seen people on stage ask you to give pictures of people in the spirit world and then give you a message from that person in the spirit world. That person is not a medium, they are a face reader. You can read faces. There's a whole art of that in China, for example. So, you know, and so coming back to the original thing, Lightworkers, you know, I mean, it's just a word again. You know, why do we have to complicate things so much? You can either do it or you can't. And if you can't, you want all this fancy stuff, you know. And you really, you know, these gifts are wonderful. These gifts are real. These gifts should be making us think about our lives and the future and our place in the universe, and make us think about the greater philosophy of all this. But this other nonsense, it just waters it down to the point that it destroys the wonders of these things, you know. And there's no regulation for all this, you know. And so where do we go with it? So think about it. It's important that more of us are discerning. And when someone blindly calls themselves a light worker or an angel reader or whatever, find out what is really going on with that. What is behind it? Do your research. You know, read the old stuff. Read the old stuff about spiritualism, for example. Read the old stuff about how the early mediums. Read people like Colin Wilson that look into the whole story of those things. Read my books as well, actually. But, you know, it's important we become discerning, because if we don't, we lose the very gift. The pearl gets lost in the rubbish, in the pig shit, you know. We got to find those pearls of truth and value them. And you know, when you look at it, there are a tiny number of people in this world that are mediums. Very tiny number. A lot more who are psychics, but even them, there's very few of them that really have the gift, you know. So think about it, be discerning, question these things, and then we can value the wonderful truth that these things offer us, the wonderful insights into our place in the universe. So if you enjoy these videos, don't forget to follow them every week. Follow the channel by clicking that little bell thing at the bottom of the page, and then you can be annoyed every time I come online. And if you've been enjoying this and you've got some comments about it, put your comments below, because I'm sure not everybody agrees with what I have to say.